We got Jimmy High Roller. He's already the best player in the world. Fucking Wemby boy, I was watching that shit. But that shit, all the finals and games come on in South Africa at like 3 o'clock in the morning. But I stayed up, bruh, and I was watching that game 7, boy. That shit was so fire, bruh. It's like, motherfuckers be hating on shit. But it's that role when he stops all the all the foul beating and shit. And when he locks in and balls, that always top tier, on some real shit. But they don't need to stop all that other shit and just ball out and O's. Well, I think motherfuckers hate Shea because motherfuckers just hate Shea because they just wanna hate. But the reason I'm starting to dislike him, he's so much better. He doesn't need all of that other foul beating, flopping and shit. He's just good, So just be good, you know what I'm saying? But Wemby went crazy too. Wemby is like, he's my GOAT, like upcoming GOATs. LeBron my GOAT, but Wemby is gonna be up there, like he got the mentality. That's the thing. He's got the talent, the gifts, and the mentality. Boy, that was training with monks. That was training underwater, like he's in the military. That shit, like that was gonna be him, boy. He's already like, you know what I'm saying? He already him.
LeBron James all the way up to number 2 on your all-time list? I have him at 9.
Look at me, I'm a Spurs fan. My team is perfectly run and well-respected. My franchise player is a 9'7" French alien with high emotional intelligence.
The NBA Finals are here, which means we've got some hot takes to look at today. Playoff edition. The good ones, the bad ones, and the downright atrocious. Today's video is sponsored by DraftKings. The playoffs are here, and right now you can get in on the action with DraftKings' newest easy-to-play fantasy pick'em, DraftKings Pick 6. With DraftKings Pick 6, you're not just selecting now, and sign up with code JimmyHighRoller to after 6 weeks
of different gambling ones in every video,
of NBA playoff basketball, we are now down to just 2 teams. And while Knicks and Spurs fans get to enjoy the exhilarating experience of watching their team fight for an NBA title,
shout out to the Knicks too, but this season and this playoffs, it's been crazy, boy. I'm ready for it, like, even if they lose, but New York, I'm ready for the Clips, and I'm a see, boy, because I couldn't imagine a better city go to the finals. They always, Florida is more like Dublin. I say Florida is like Dublin. Joburg is like New York. I fuck with Joburg too, bruh. Like, what am I talking about?
The rest of us have been relegated to watch from the sidelines as we spew out hot takes about teams we couldn't beat. And today, we're gonna take a look at some of these takes. Starting with this one that comes from a fan who asks, is Wemby the quickest someone has ever climbed to arguably number 1 in the league? Wemby's in year 3. Neither LeBron or MJ ascended to number 1 so quickly. And this is interesting because there's 2 parts to this take. The first part is that Wemby is arguably the best player in the world. And the second is that no one else has been the best.
I say yes, boy. That's my answer. I say yes. That'll, like you said, 3rd season being the best in the world. That's like Lamar, Lamar, you know, Lamine Yamal. I combine his first and second name. That's what I'm gonna call him. Lamar. That's literally Wemby, you know, that's actually fire there, because it's like they come in the Cristiano Ronaldo, and you know, Messi, LeBron, Curry, Durant, all of them. It's like the in all sports, like the generations is like flipping. It's crazy, boy.
best player in the world by the end of their third season. Both of those statements a bit subjective. I think it's definitely fair to say that Victor Wembanyama is arguably the best player in the world right now. If it's not him, then it's Jokic or Shea. And regardless of who you pick, there's no wrong answer. But the key word here is arguably. So has any other player in
My nigga, I don't have money for AI viewers, bruh. These ones are coming here, these bots. There's one bot name is some simultaneous Bastion P. What? AI bots, AI viewers. I don't.
NBA history climbed to be arguably the best player in the league by year 3? And the answer is yeah. Wilt Chamberlain won a league MVP as a rookie. By the end of Kareem's third season, he led the league in scoring twice.
Wait, what? I mean, like, Wilt is just Wemby. If Wemby was playing against like fucking ants or some shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're really surprised, bruh. Hold on, we found the game. Shit.
As a rookie. By the end of Kareem's third season, he led the league in scoring twice, had 2 MVPs, a finals MVP, and was definitively the best player in the NBA. Larry Bird was the runner-up in MVP voting in his second and third seasons in the league and was arguably the best player in the league. And of course, there's Michael Jordan, who despite not having the hardware as tangible proof, was generally regarded as one of, if not the best player in the world by the end of his third season in '87. Now, looking into more recent NBA history, there's Shaquille O'Neal, who was arguably the best player in the league by '95, neck and neck with David Robinson and Hakeem Olajuwon. Although Shaq held the crown by 2000, in Tim Duncan's third season, he was in conversations as the best player in the league after leading the Spurs to a championship in just his second season. Another prodigy with an underrated early career is Kevin Durant, who was regarded as virtually the only player who could go toe-to-toe with a prime LeBron by his third season in the league in 2010. He finished second in MVP voting, and although he wasn't the best player in the world, he was next in line by his third season. And then there's Derrick Rose, who wasn't regarded as the best player in the world by the end of year 3, but he did get an award, a small consolation prize for his efforts. And of course, there's year 3 LeBron, who ascended in the 2000s with a crowd of all-time greats. By the end of his third season, there wasn't a definitive best player in the world. Between
Shit, bro. I won't lie, I was so locked in on Rolling Excel. I forgot the video was even playing, bro. My bad. I feel like one of them motherfuckers that just like
2000, in Tim Duncan's third season, the best player. Wilt Chamberlain won a league MVP as a rookie. By the end of Kareem's third season, he led the league in scoring twice, had 2 MVPs, a finals MVP, and was definitively the best player in the NBA.
career this way. I knew Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was crazy. I don't know, in 3 years he did all of this, but what? Nah, it's gotta be like, there's so many good players in the NBA these days that they can't. I don't think this would ever be possible for anyone anymore except
Larry Bird was the runner-up in MVP voting in his second and third seasons in the league and was arguably the best player in the league. And of course, there's Michael Jordan, who despite not having the hardware as tangible proof, was generally regarded as one of, if not the best player in the world by the end of his third season in '87. Now, looking into more recent NBA history, there's Shaquille O'Neal, who was arguably the best player in the league by '95, neck and neck with David Robinson and Hakeem Olajuwon. Although Shaq held the crown by 2000, in Tim Duncan's third season, he was in conversations as the best player in the league after leading the Spurs to a championship in just his second season. Another prodigy with an underrated early career is Kevin Durant, who was regarded as virtually the only player who could go toe-to-toe with a prime LeBron by his third season in the league in 2010. He finished second in MVP voting, and although he wasn't the best player in the world, he was next in line by his third season. And then there's Derrick.
I'm about to say some crazy shit, bro. I think Kevin Durant overrated, boy. I feel like I'ma just say this, bro. Curry won a ring before him and after him. as he everyone can't say the same thing, you know what I'm saying? But
Rose, who wasn't regarded as the best player in the world by the end of year 3, but he did get an award, a small consolation prize for his efforts. And of course, there's year 3.
okay, I won't say he's overrated. I'll say if anyone says the range is better than Curry, that's what I would say. Because Curry is better than Durant.
LeBron, who ascended in the 2000s with a crowd of all-time greats. By the end of his 3rd season, there wasn't a definitive best player in the world. Between Dirk, Kobe, Nash, Duncan, the conversation was pretty open for interpretation. But there's no denying he was certainly in it, finishing 2nd in MVP voting in his 3rd season in the league. The moral of this story being that throughout modern NBA history, even amongst the greatest players of all time, there probably hasn't been a single player that was the consensus #1 player in the world by the end of year 3. Wemby falls in the same category as LeBron and Shaq and Jordan and Bird, making a very strong case as arguably the best player in the league. I wouldn't say he's definitively the best player in the world, but I'd say being in the same sentence as those guys is a good consolation. Now this next take
I'm saying definitely, boy. I don't give a fuck. He's definitely the best player in the world.
comes from a fan who says
Bruh, that game 7, fuck the game 7, the shot. That logo shots alone in game 1, boy.
you could replace Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with 30 different players and the Thunder still win the title. And if this isn't evidence that
7 foot, by the way, doing that shit.
SGA has the worst PR of any superstar of his era, I don't know what is. 30 players. You know what the Thunder's record is this season, including the playoffs with Shai? 65-13. You know their record without him? 8-6. 84% win percentage with Shai, 57% win percentage without him. The Thunder's record over the last 3 seasons with Shai? 204 and 56. 78% win percentage. Their record.
Ever seen Shea is trash? Need to stop watching any sports and fucking play with their own balls or some shit. I don't know exactly. Because if you've seen Shea is trash and shit,
Without Shai,
you don't know. Like
15-12. A
we have not seen
mediocre
those all play, bro.
56% win percentage without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over the last 3 seasons. For perspective, from 2016 through 2018, when the Warriors had the league in a chokehold, Golden State's record with Steph Curry was 215-44. Their record without him was 30-19. A gap that is identical to the Thunder with and without Shai. Because it turns out, not only do great successful players have great impact, but they usually have great teams built around their unique skill set and talent. Time and time again, we penalize players for being a part of a good team. Fans minimize Steph because of how good the Warriors were. They downplayed LeBron in Miami because of how good the Heat were. And you can't bring up Jordan without someone mentioning how great the team around him was. But all
I was gonna say, it's almost as loose as it's almost as if it's a team sport, bruh.
of the true all-time greats had great teams around them. If social media existed in the 90s, all you would ever hear about is how stacked the Bulls are and the unfair advantage MJ has. Steph had the most lethal team in the history of basketball behind him. Bird and Magic played with rotations filled exclusively with Hall of Famers. This is just the way it goes. And the irony of all of it is that in many cases, the perceived caliber of the team as a whole can often be the result of the guy leading the charge. Great players make their teammates look better. You'll often hear the hypothetical of swapping player X with player Y and which team would perform better with their new star. For example,
Pringles is a problem, except that shit too addictive, bro. I eat one and my plan was to eat a couple and then smoke, except I'm still eating it. So.
Jokic with SGA and the Thunder still win a championship, but the Nuggets would be in the play-in or something like that. But that's not how basketball works. Good teams are built with intention, They are built with specificity. Shea is a great player, so is Luka Doncic. But Shea cannot do what Luka does, and Luka can't do what Shea does. Same goes for Ant or Brunson. Great players, completely different skill sets. Great rosters are like a recipe. You need the right amount of the right ingredients to make it work. Change one ingredient and you risk screwing up the entire dish. In fact, we've already seen what happens when talent is viewed as some perfectly transferable property. In the super team era, where organizations had this exact mentality, teams were slapped together with no intention, no design, no cohesion, just stacking up as much talent as possible for the sake of it. And it almost never worked out. Regardless of what you think of Shea's game, he is a very unique and very crucial ingredient to a recipe that has been perfected over the last half decade. And there are not 30.
It's people like this, bro. What app is this? But it is. Anyone who be posting on Reddit and fucking it's like actually be posting and commenting and shit. I don't take any opinion they have seriously. I won't lie to you. Real shit, boy.
Players who could fill his shoes and lead OKC to a title. This take is absurd. Now, this next take comes from a fan who says there has never been a more difficult time to win an NBA championship than right now. And I completely agree. After the Warriors ran the table on the NBA last decade, the entire meta of professional basketball
was it the first time ever that 8 straight years or 6 straight years is a different champion?
Shifted. Teams have gotten smarter, they've gotten deeper, and although talent will always prevail, the path to winning a ring in today's NBA requires far more than just talent to get it done. This is now the 8th season in a row that a different team will be crowned champions, the longest stretch of unique championship teams in NBA history. In fact, there have been 14 unique teams in the finals over the last 8 years. That is half the NBA. We are now creeping up on an entire era of absolute parity in the NBA. And this is in complete opposition of what we saw in previous eras. Whether it was the Celtics and Lakers winning 8 of the 10 championships in the 80s, the Bulls going 6 for 10 in the 90s, the Spurs and Lakers combining for 7 rings in the 2000s, or the Warriors winning 4 in 8 seasons. Dynasties and perpetual winning have been a staple in the NBA for decades. But due to multiple factors, such as advanced analytics giving teams the insight to optimize their rosters and game plans, teams prioritizing depth more than ever before, the rise of rotation-level players and their impact on a night-to-night basis, and the league itself enacting new rules to actively fight against teams building dynasty-worthy rosters. Not only is it more challenging to win a championship now than ever before, it's more equitable. No longer do you have to have the best player on the court to win a series. No longer can you pair up a couple of mega talents and run through a conference. The 10th man off the bench can be just as pivotal in today's game as your second option. The natural evolution of the game has slowly leveled the playing field for teams competing for a title, and this shrunken gap between top-end teams now leaves the margin for error small enough that truly anything can happen. We still see glimpses of all-world caliber players willing their teams to victories, but those moments have now become a rarity. Before this era of parity, LeBron James was able to will his way to 8 straight finals appearances off of sheer ability.
That's crazy, boy. 8 straight is crazy, boy. You know how hard it is to get back-to-back finals, etc. 8 straight is... that's your gold status, boy.
And determination. This does not happen in today's NBA. A great bench is no longer a bonus, it is a necessity. A great coach is no longer an edge, it's a requirement. Right when you think one team has separated themselves from the pack as a potential dynasty candidate, the league adjusts faster than it ever did before to counter their strengths. The basketball scale has and will always tilt in the favor of talent. One thing that remains true is that winning a championship means being in possession of one of, if not the best player in the world. But it's everything else. Depth, fit, cohesion, chemistry, schemes, rotations that has leveled the playing field and can now tilt the scale just as much. This is a great take. And our last take comes from a fan who says the regular season has become all but irrelevant and the playoffs are
not really though. Yeah, The reason why I stopped watching is just because of that timing, say where it starts at like 2-3 in the morning. There's only certain times I can do that shit. So yeah, I don't know. So like I'm not like really tapped into the regular season like that.
Only thing that actually matters, both in terms of discourse and legacy. And I could not agree more with this take. In the past, the playoffs were just a ramped up version of the regular season. Tougher defense, tendencies exaggerated, more intense matchups. The consequences of the playoffs were held to a similar regard. What a player did in the postseason mattered the most, but what they did in the regular season still mattered quite a bit. But now more than ever, the postseason has become completely disconnected from the regular season. The playoffs don't just feel more intense. At times, it actually feels like we're watching a completely different sport. And this is what happens when the regular season is comprised of some teams resting players, other teams using the regular season as one long testing ground in preparation for the playoffs, and the rest of the teams literally.
That's why I like that rule, that 62 game rule or some shit, because like that's the only basketball, the only sport where motherfuckers be sitting out half the season, bro, before the game. Hold on. She said you want no fucking nigga.
Trying to lose as many games as possible. It has become evident that many organizations do not take the regular season seriously whatsoever. And in return, many fans are now choosing not to take it seriously either. You won the league's most prestigious award, the MVP. Well, why should I care? It doesn't even look like you do. You average 25 a night? Yeah, well, a quarter of the league isn't even trying to win games. If all you guys care about is the playoffs, then all we're going to care about is the playoffs. And now here we are at the point where And now here we are at the point where a 6-game series can hold more weight than an entire season of basketball. Legacies, reputations, the entire merits of a player's game are now decided strictly off of the playoffs. Tracy McGrady was a fantastic player, and to this day, he is rightfully remembered as such. Tracy McGrady never made it out of the first round. These days, if you win an MVP, but you don't back it up as the best player throughout the entire playoffs, you are instantly a fraud. Steve Nash won back-to-back MVPs and never made it to the finals. Dominique Wilkins is a legend, a staple.
Steve Nash never made it to the finals. I don't know that, bro.
Of 80s basketball. He also never made it to the conference finals once in his entire career. Meanwhile, I just watched Jalen Duren wash away fan support, 70 games of awesome basketball, and a max contract in just 3 weeks of bad playoff basketball. I just watched arguably the most impactful regular season of all time get dismissed because of say Joel Embiid, former league MVP, 4th highest scoring average in NBA history, one of the most talented bigs of all time, is not a Hall of Famer because of his lack of playoff success. Do I think this new standard being imposed on players today is unfair? Yeah, I really do. Not everyone's gonna win a championship. But do I also think the players and teams have done this to themselves? Yeah. The symptom of teams coasting their way through the regular season without any real sense of urgency is that we as fans now know the real test of a player's game, actually the only true test of their game and their abilities, is in the playoffs, which inherently makes the regular season and everything that happens in it a lot less important, and everything that happens in the postseason, even if it's a 4-game sample size, the only thing.
And they made it like they just made it like a chore to watch regular games, like regular season games. It's like too many, bro. They want to make so much money, it's too much.
That matters. And although I really wish this wasn't the current state of the league and its discourse, I agree with this take. But let me know what you think. Share your hot takes in the comments below. And as always, the hotter, the better.
That's what I like to say, Jimmy. I roll up by a video, bro. He always don't